Hey, Gator fans, thanks for joining me. I have some things to get off my chest that I heard about on game day this past weekend. Today's video is presented by BetUS. If you watched game day on Saturday, you watched us get roasted nationally by Nick Saban and Kurt Herbstreit, and they're not wrong, okay? And when somebody whose face should be on the Mount Rushmore of college football speaks about the problems that are happening within your program, I think it's important for the powers that be to listen. But what happens when what he's saying is negative about the powers that be? Okay, so this is Saban's quote. Well, I think maybe the problem isn't the coaches. They've been through 4 coaches since Spurrier and Urban. Both created a tremendous culture of winning there. And sometimes the fan base can just think, well, we can just show up and expect to win and not make the commitment to the program that you need to make to be able to continue to make the changes and investments you need to make to keep up with the changes. Okay, so I'm going to pause right there. That's the first part of this quote. Guys, when Urban Meyer was handing us championships on a silver platter, when we were signing the #1 recruiting class in the country, why in the world were we not investing in our facilities then and investing in our program? I know when Urban got there, we redid the weight room and we redid the training room and they made it nice and pretty. But they made it nice and pretty to compare with what other programs had done 10 years prior. So we weren't cutting edge, we were catching up. Right? We were trying to take this national championship program and make our facilities match the title that we just won. And we was still an arms race in the SEC. And even with the new updates that we did in that 2008 season, we were still behind. That was barely catching us up to the middle of the pack in our conference. It wasn't helping us lead the way. The quote goes on to say, things change. They should have taken advantage of building better facilities when Urban Meyer was there. Where's their collective been like? Saban asks. Have they been adapting to this new model of college football? So it's not just the coaches. When you've been through 4 coaches that haven't had success, there is something else that people should be looking at. Yes, there is something else that people should be looking at. 4 coaches in a row have failed since Urban Meyer. What is the common denominator of those 4 coaches? It's the UAA, right? It's not even the athletic director because 2 of them were under Jeremy Foley and 2 of them were under Scott Strickland. It's bigger than your athletic director. It's the UAA as a whole, or maybe it's the university as a whole. Florida didn't pour the money into the facilities at UF when they should have. We have now, but it's too little too late at this point, right? Do recruits actually care about the beautiful buildings now? No, they care about the money that they can get for NIL. So had you opened this amazing, immaculate, state-of-the-art football facility 15 years ago, you could have been on the cutting edge of college football and you would have landed recruits because of it. At this point, they'll stay at a Hojo and work out in a backyard if it means they get to take home a giant NIL check. The stuff that we just poured money into doesn't matter anymore. All this talk about redoing the stadium, people don't care. None of this is where the money should be going at this point. NIL is where we're at this moment.
Before we go on, I want to give some love to BetUS. You can go to BetUS and bet on the game right now. BetUS has upped the game. Now you can get a 150% deposit when you use the code YouTube150. That's up to $2,000. Your second and third deposits are still 125% deposit bonus. Appreciate BetUS for their support. Go check them out.
The University of Florida should have been talking to every single booster that they've convinced to donate to the stadium project or something else and said, hey, your money would best be suited if you put it towards NIL. Here's the phone number of the Gator Collective. Here's the phone number of Florida Victorious. These are the organizations you should be working with because, the university can't collect the money for NIL. That's not how it works yet. But Instead, the UAA have had no problem cashing these big money checks, convincing people to slap their names up on buildings. None of that is helping anyone win in today's college football. Now, does that mean I love it? No. I hate the Wild West that NIL is right now, but I want to win. So I'm totally willing to do whatever it takes on that forefront so that we can be successful. And when I say NIL, I'm not talking about your average donor. I'm not talking about the guy who gives $25 a month to Florida Victorias. That's a help. And I think it's awesome. And I think we should all do it if we can. I am talking about the university embracing it, right? I am not talking about fans embracing it. I am talking about the university putting 100% of their efforts into convincing their big money donors to funnel their money towards NIL. I don't believe that has happened. I almost believe there's like a power struggle here between the UAA and our collectives over the last couple of years. I think that the UAA looks at it as one pot, and now they're getting less of that pot because NIL exists. Instead of looking at it as we have one pot, how do we take that pot and win a championship? I don't believe that's the way the University of Florida has looked at it. I feel like they've looked at it like, how do we hang on to this as much as possible so we don't lose any of this money? And I don't think that's the right way to look at it. And honestly, they were behind the 8 ball when Urban won. Why in the world did we not get that amazing, immaculate, gorgeous football facility then, right? We did a revamp of the weight room and a revamp of the training room. Why did we not get a standalone football facility like we have now that opened 2 years ago? Why did we not do that back then? Alabama was doing it. Ohio State was doing it. Some of the biggest programs in the country were pouring money into buildings then. And we stuck a Band-Aid on an already existing facility and said, this is good for now. We'll slap some pretty paint, get some Gator pictures, and it'll be good. It's not. And, when I watched on Saturday, it was embarrassing. It's embarrassing to watch your university get called out. But maybe it's good, right? I don't know if any of you guys remember this, but ESPN called out Miami in 2021. They said that nobody at the university seemed invested in winning, right? Not the president, not the boosters, not the university. And then look what happened. Their NIL collective has been incredibly successful. They went out and got the top quarterback in the transfer portal. They're pouring money into their offense and defensive line. They've got 2 guys on their line making upwards of $1.5 million each to be on that line. Could this be the wake-up call that UF needs? Does being called out publicly by the biggest name in college football, arguably Nick Saban, move the needle at all? And if it doesn't move the needle within the UAA, does it at the very least move the needle with the big money boosters who are stroking the checks? I hope so. I'm hoping that some good can come out of the negative publicity that UF has generated lately. It is embarrassing. We can do better. Fans deserve better. We are capable of better. But it takes the powers that be fully investing in NIL and fully embracing football again. We're going to see. The next couple of weeks should be very interesting to see if we take a step in that direction or not. Once again, this video was presented by BetUS. We appreciate them. And listen, I want to hear, am I right? Am I wrong? What are your thoughts on this game day topic? Give me some feedback in the comments here. I would love to go back and forth with you. I want to know what you think is going to spark some change. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, go Gators.